Good morning, it's Vicky from Free Farm Limits, and I'm out with the dog again this morning, looking pretty tired, pretty much just got out of bed. So I wanted to very briefly talk about a question again that I get asked quite a lot, which is which thoughts do I believe and which thoughts do I not believe? And I was thinking about this morning, and it occurred to me that as a general rule, I wouldn't believe any thoughts. Thoughts are not necessary for things to happen. Thoughts don't make things happen, although it looks that way. So, yeah, any thought is to be suspicious of. If you think about, ironically, think about digesting your food, making your breakfast, driving your car, walking, talking, eating, moving, any of those things, like, they don't take any thought, right? You don't need thought. Thought is not required for any of those things. If you look out in nature, the trees, obviously we don't know, but I'm kind of assuming that the trees that are all around me are not thinking about how to grow their leaves or which direction to grow in or whether they're the right colour or any of that stuff. They're just being lived. They're just being grown. And the same for the birds. They're not, as far as I know, thinking, oh, I must jump down onto the ground there and pick up that worm. They just know to do that, and so they fly down and they eat. And I would propose to you that we're the same, except that we think, and we think that our thinking is what makes things happen. And so I would just get curious about that. Like, do I need to think about things to make them happen, or do things actually happen? And can you find examples of when you find yourself doing something and you didn't even think about it, you're just doing it? And yeah, just notice how often that happens, and then notice how often the mind gets involved, and kind of creates this idea that it's really important and you must listen to it, and if you don't listen to it, then things won't happen. So that is what I would point you to. It often feels like we're not thinking, or that we're not paying attention to thought, or it's not thought, it's actually true. And in that instance, I would just invite you to notice what's going on. Again, I think I mentioned it yesterday, but what's actually going on right here, right now? Is any of that stuff going on right here, right now? Because often things can look absolutely certain, but they're not actually here, and so the indication is that they're certain in the mind, they're certain in thought, but they're not actually true. My arm's shaking. I don't know whether you can see it shaking. I don't know what's going on here. I need to get one of those little stand things so I can walk along and hold my phone a little bit more comfortably. So any time that something looks like it's absolutely 100% true, there can't be any doubt. Just question whether it's actually here now, or whether the only way that you know it is through thoughts that are happening, that you're paying attention to. So that is where I'm going to leave it today. Just experiment for yourself around whether thinking is required for actions to happen, or whether actions just happen, and be suspicious of all thoughts. And I will see you on another day. It won't be for a few days because I'm now off to run an art retreat with the lovely Lucy Sheffield. But I will see you again soon. Lots of love. Bye.